Hello there, and welcome to Sleepy Tales by John, a place where, each night, we gently step away from the rush of life and wander into stories far bigger than ourselves. If today you feel tired, or if you simply want a quiet moment after a long day, then this little corner is for you. Tonight, we will not linger among the familiar starry dust of the Milky Way. Instead, we'll look farther, past the dim layers of darkness, to touch an ancient light that has been waiting there quietly since long before humans ever existed. A thin stripe of glow, fragile but vast inside, the one scientists call the Andromeda Galaxy. To the naked eye, it appears only as a faint mist, but when you listen a little deeper, when your mind begins to slow, you'll sense that it is a luminous city of more than 1 trillion suns, quietly shining. Its arms stretch across hundreds of thousands of light years, swirling like an ancient dance in the cold darkness of space. The light you see tonight left Andromeda more than 2 million years ago. Each photon is like a whispered message, carrying the story of exploding stars, of clouds collapsing into new suns, or of planets no one has ever seen. And in this quiet, I invite you to soften, to let your breath slow, to let your mind gently open, because just a moment from now you will drift far, far away, light as though the universe is holding you in its arms, guiding you toward the heart of the Andromeda Galaxy. As your thoughts follow the light, you might sense something, that even though this galaxy is unimaginably far, it still feels present, right here, in this very moment. Its light touches your eyes like a gentle hand on your shoulder from an old friend, someone you've never met, yet who has always been there. Now we will discover who Andromeda truly is in this vast cosmic neighborhood. If the Milky Way is the home you live in, a home with a domed roof of stars, spiral corridors, and a backyard made of nebulae stretching hundreds of light years, then Andromeda is the bright, glowing house at the end of the cosmic street. Larger, more radiant, standing far enough that its light must travel 2.5 million years before it can knock on your door. A distance so great that when that light first began its journey, humans did not yet exist. Earth knew only wind, stone, and the raw silence of its earliest days. Whenever you gaze up and spot that faint smear of light, you're not just observing space. You're looking back in time, at an ancient version of that galaxy, like holding a weathered journal in your hands, each page a story whose writer is long gone. Yet the emotion remains completely intact. Light from Andromeda works the same way. It is the universe's diary, written with tiny photons that silently cross the cold dark, just to gift you a glimpse of a moment long gone. Imagine the Milky Way and Andromeda as two homes standing at opposite ends of an ink-black road where the only street lamps are stars. Between them lie giant clouds of dust, endless expanses of emptiness, and a silence only the universe could create. And you, a small traveler, stand at your doorstep, looking toward that glowing house in the distance. You hear no sound. You see no movement. But you know it is there, and you feel its light brushing softly from its windows. The universe is vast, yes, but it is also exquisitely delicate. Sometimes one dim glow, one thread of light, is enough to link two galaxies. Andromeda is not just a distant object floating in darkness. It is our closest galactic neighbor, sharing the same cosmic ships, drifting alongside us like two immense ships on the interstellar ocean. When its light began its journey, it carried with it the images of stars that may now be dust. It carried the traces of clouds collapsing into new suns. It carried blurred maps of swirling arms woven from dust. And when that light finally reaches you, after a voyage longer than the entirety of human history, it whispers that what you're seeing is a moment long dead, surviving only in the memory of light. If you gently close your eyes, the distance no longer feels frightening. It becomes like reading a very old message from a dear friend, one that took millions of years to arrive, because the speed of light is too slow. In that infinite delay lies a strange beauty, the beauty of time, of patience, of endurance that only light can know. And strangely, even though this distance is unimaginably huge, Andromeda is still the nearest galaxy to the Milky Way. Like two friends living in enormous mansions far apart, but because the neighborhood is so vast, they are still considered neighbors. When you look at Andromeda, you stand at the crossroads of two worlds. The world you live in, where seconds slip by quickly, and the world of the universe, where a moment can last longer than entire civilizations. You look up, and in one heartbeat, you touch a story billions of years old. Notice something gentle happening inside you, as if you're not only looking at a galaxy far away, but also seeing yourself in another version, smaller, quieter, and more connected to everything around you. Standing there, at the doorstep of the Milky Way, gazing toward the glowing home named Andromeda at the far end of the cosmic street, you may begin to feel that the 2.5 million light-year distance is not just a number. It becomes a long path covered in darkness and silence, where every ray of light from Andromeda travels through time to reach you like an invitation. A quiet, patient, unhurried invitation, whispering, "If you wish, you may step inside." And so, in the softness of imagination, the doorway of Andromeda slowly opens. Picture yourself standing before a doorway made of pure light. Light that is thin, delicate, clear as water, and shimmering like dawn mist. With just one gentle step, you leave the Milky Way's porch and enter Andromeda's inner world. There is no sound, no wind, only you, and a vastness unfolding like a silver veil. As you step inside, the first thing you see is a forest of stars, not trees, stars. Countless lanterns suspended in deep darkness, young blue stars burning with gemstone light. Ancient red giants glowing like elders beside a warm hearth, telling stories of billions of years. And somewhere between them, millions of quieter suns flickering softly, like candles in a windless room. Everything around you seems to be hung by threads of light. Every spark, big or small, has its own story. Some stars have light already halfway to the Milky Way. Some are igniting for the very first time at the moment you enter. Clouds of dust spiral, preparing new generations of stars. And if you listen closely, you almost hear a soft murmur, like pine trees whispering in an ancient forest. But this is the sound of plasma, magnetic fields, matter weaving itself into new forms. You drift through this star forest not by walking, but by letting go. It feels like floating in water, except the water here is made of light. You tilt your body slightly, and you're weightless as smoke. You don't step between stars, you glide through their glowing streams, like a lone leaf carried along the silent river of the universe. Look closer, and you'll realize a galaxy is not just stars. It is worlds, millions, billions of planetary systems circling each sun you see. Some planets burn with molten heat, others are cold as glass. Some hold quiet seas, purple storms, or methane oceans. And somewhere, deep within one of those distant spirals, there may exist a forest on a faraway world, whispering a song you could never hear. If you soften your mind, you'll feel that Andromeda is like a colossal book written in light. Each star is a letter. Each orbit is a sentence. Each nebula is a long chapter. And you, right now, are drifting between its pages, not in a rush, not trying to understand, simply letting the story brush softly against you. Picture yourself reaching out, not to grab a star, but to feel its light gliding past your fingertips. It isn't hot, it isn't cold. It feels like a quiet mist, like the distant breath of something ancient. You can sense tiny vibrations, like the faint heartbeat of a living being. Within this forest of stars, some regions shine like blooming flowers, where nebulae are crystallizing into new suns. Other regions are completely dark, dust so thick that light cannot pass. But inside those shadows, new starlight is being grown. Maybe, and the farther you drift, the more you feel as if you've wandered into a place both alien and familiar. You may wonder, why does this sight bring such peace? Perhaps because, in the presence of so many burning suns, you finally see something simple. The universe is so vast that every worry you brought with you dissolves. They shrink to dust, then fade into the light. Let that quiet settle over you. Let Andromeda's slow light drift around you like soft threads. The world outside, the noise, the heaviness, stays behind the shimmering doorway you stepped through. As you drift a little deeper, effortlessly, you realize the galaxy is no longer a distant object in the night sky. It becomes a forest you can wander, a space you can breathe in, a story you can sink into, gently, like sinking into water, deep but never frightening. This is Andromeda from the inside, a boundless garden of stars where every light is a soul, every dust trail a path, every planet a secret. And you, a calm traveler, are walking among those secrets, as if the universe is quietly opening its heart for you. Right now, you might be wondering, how do we know all of this? How can humans, tiny as specks of dust drifting inside the Milky Way, possibly open a door into such a deep, distant place? The answer begins with a very beautiful mistake. A mistake so lovely that, looking back now, it feels like the opening chapter of a cosmic fairy tale. Long ago, long before giant telescopes ever touched the sky, humans only had their eyes and their curiosity. And in the night sky, among countless familiar points of light, there was a faint, thin smudge that only the most patient stargazers could see. They called it many names: the little cloud, the strange mist, the evening smoke. To them, Andromeda was nothing more than a gentle breath of the sky, a pale chalk streak someone had accidentally brushed across the dark. No one then knew they were looking at a colossal galaxy, a grand city of stars with thousands of billions of suns. No one knew that the light they saw had been traveling for more than 2 million years, crossing cold space just to touch their eyes for a fleeting moment. They only knew that it was beautiful. And sometimes, beauty alone is enough to make people stop and stare. Then time moved on, and humanity stepped into an age of bigger questions. The first telescopes were raised, like giant ears listening to the universe. Among those who pressed their ears to the sky, there was a name the cosmos seemed to have been waiting for: Edwin Hubble. Hubble did not see Andromeda as a streak of mist. He saw it as a letter written in light, and his task was to read what was inside. When its light entered his telescope, it stopped being just a blurred patch. It broke apart into individual stars, tiny points of light with heartbeats, with rhythms, with stories. Among them, Hubble found a special one, a Cepheid variable, a star that brightens and dims in a steady cycle and can be used to measure distance. Cepheids are the lighthouses of the universe. And when Hubble measured that distance, the world changed. He realized that Andromeda did not lie inside the Milky Way. It was too far, too big, too bright, too separate. It was a galaxy of its own, a vast island universe existing completely independently. That discovery was like humanity opening its eyes and realizing that the sea we thought was the entire shore was, in truth, just a small pool on the edge of an endless ocean. In that moment, we stepped through a new kind of doorway. A doorway not made of wood or metal, but of awareness. For the first time in history, we understood that the Milky Way was not everything. For the first time, we looked up and knew that space did not just hold scattered stars, but also entire worlds of light, drifting like lost ships on a dark sea. Imagine what that felt like, as if you had lived your whole life in a quiet village, believing the dirt road outside your house was the edge of the world. Then one day, someone leads you out of the forest and shows you an entire continent stretching out before your eyes. The universe, in the moment Hubble saw a Cepheid in Andromeda, expanded in exactly that way. And perhaps the most beautiful part is this. It all began with a tiny blur that everyone used to overlook. If you close your eyes now, you can feel that story like a bedtime tale, as if Andromeda, that huge, distant galaxy, had smiled softly and said, "You've been looking at me for thousands of years. Only when you truly listen will I tell you who I am." As you drift gently in that thought, you might sense a very thin thread connecting you, Hubble, the ancient sky watchers, and countless generations yet to come. An invisible strand tying all of us to the same story, the story of learning to know the night sky. Long ago, people thought Andromeda was just a faint cloud. Today, we know it is one of the largest galaxies in our neighborhood. And tomorrow, who knows? Perhaps we will see it so clearly that it feels as if we're standing inside its glowing streets. That story has never stopped. It is simply changing its shape. All right. As the tale of those early misunderstandings slowly fades into the night, you may feel a very soft sense of gratitude rising in your chest. Gratitude that humans were patient enough to keep looking at that faint smudge and not give up. Gratitude that someone was curious enough to ask, "Is this really just a cloud?" And from that moment, when Hubble read the message of that Cepheid star, our understanding of the universe widened, like standing before a door, and someone quietly pushes it open just a little more, revealing a room far larger than anything you ever imagined. And in that widening space, what waits for you next is light. Light that retells the galaxy's history without a single word, yet with incredible subtlety and depth. Because when you look up at Andromeda, you are not just seeing present light, you are seeing the past. A past so distant that if you try to picture it, your mind feels as if it's being stretched between two shores of time. The light you see from Andromeda left that galaxy 2.5 million years ago, when modern humans did not yet exist, when Earth still belonged to our most ancient ancestors. Imagine that light as tiny, fragile boats crossing the vast, dark ocean of the cosmos. They drift through freezing emptiness, slip past dust clouds, sail beside dwarf galaxies, skim along halos of invisible dark matter. And then, after a journey longer than all human history, they reach your eyes in a single instant. Strange, isn't it? Even now, as you sit here in your small room or lie on your soft bed, closing your eyes and opening them again, the light that reaches you has traveled farther than any dream. To touch you now, it had to depart from Andromeda when there were no languages, no civilizations, no stories written down. It carries the memory of stars that lived, died, and left their signatures in their final glow. Some of the stars you're looking at may have gone out millions of years ago, but their last light is still on the move, still sending a late greeting into the universe, like the final echo of a fading flame. When you think about this, you may feel time stacking itself in layers in the air. You are no longer just looking at Andromeda. You are gazing at an ancient portrait, painted with light, with stardust, with the seasons of birth and death of billions of suns. Each ray is a line of notes. Each star is a memory. That galaxy becomes a gigantic journal. And you are the one opening it at exactly this moment. Try closing your eyes for a few seconds. Imagine you're standing in a wide field, in a windless night. A night so deep it feels as if the entire universe is pouring down onto your shoulders. And above you, Andromeda hangs there, drawing a delicate streak across the sky. Everything is so quiet you can almost hear the heartbeat of time. You open your eyes slowly, and light from that galaxy falls into you. Soft, cool, and pure, like ancient drops of dew. In that moment, you are no longer just the observer of the sky. You are the listener of a story told by light that has wandered for millions of years to find you. You are the one the universe chose to share this faraway corner with. Light from Andromeda doesn't speak in words. It speaks in patience, in distance, in an unimaginable journey it has already completed. And perhaps the most beautiful thing is this, that light arrives precisely when you need peace the most. Like an old friend who finally finds you after a very long journey, just to sit down beside you and whisper, "I've made it here." As you listen to that light, you are also listening to yourself. To the gentle miracle of being small yet alive in a universe so huge that even your imagination cannot wrap fully around it. You realize that every time you look at Andromeda, you are not just looking at another galaxy. You are looking at a slice of time, a captured instant of the cosmos from a deeply ancient era, a gift carried to you by light. And when you are ready to continue, we will go deeper into the story unfolding before you. Because light does not only carry memory, it also carries the signs of an encounter, of a slow, patient motion that leads us into the next part of tonight's journey, where Andromeda is not simply standing still, but moving toward the Milky Way, like two rivers of stars, quietly seeking each other in the dark. When the story of those early misunderstandings slowly fades into the night, you may feel that same gentle gratitude rising again, grateful that humans kept watching that faint smudge and did not give up, grateful that someone dared to ask, "Is this really just a cloud?" And from the moment Hubble decoded the message of that Cepheid star, our perception of the universe expanded. Like standing before a door and someone lightly nudges it wider, revealing a room far beyond your imagination. And in that widening space, what waits for you is light, the kind that tells the galaxy's story without speaking, yet with rich, quiet detail. Because when you look at Andromeda, you are not just seeing present light, you are seeing the past. A past so remote that if you try to imagine it fully, your mind feels stretched thin between two banks of time. The light you see from Andromeda left that galaxy 2.5 million years ago, when modern humans did not yet exist, when Earth was still home to our most ancient ancestors. Picture that light as tiny boats, frail but persistent, sailing across the vast dark ocean of the universe. They drift through cold space, pass through dust, slide by dwarf galaxies, and skim along invisible halos of dark matter. Until, after a journey longer than all of human history, they arrive at your eyes in a single instant. Strange, isn't it? Even as you sit here in your small room or lie on your comfortable bed, closing your eyes and opening them again, the light you receive has traveled farther than any dream. To reach you now, it had to leave Andromeda at a time when there were no languages, no civilizations, no written stories. It carries the memory of stars that have lived, have died, and left their marks in their fading glow. Some of the stars you see may have vanished millions of years ago, yet their final light is still drifting, still sending a belated greeting, like the last echo of a dying flame. When you think about that, you might feel time layering itself in the air. You're no longer simply looking at Andromeda. You are gazing at an ancient portrait, painted with light, with stardust, with the seasons of birth and decay of billions of suns. Every ray is a note, every star is a memory. That galaxy becomes an enormous diary, and you are the one opening its pages at exactly this moment. Try closing your eyes for a few seconds. Imagine you are standing in a wide open field. on a night without wind, a night so deep it feels as though the entire universe is pouring down onto your shoulders. And up above, Andromeda is hanging there, drawing a slim, graceful streak across the darkness. Everything is so silent that you can hear the heartbeat of time itself. You slowly open your eyes, and the light from that galaxy falls into you, soft, cool, and pure, like ancient drops of dew. In that moment, you are no longer just someone observing the sky. You are the one listening to the story of a light that has wandered for millions of years just to find you. You are the one the universe has chosen to tell about a distant piece of its sky. The light from Andromeda does not speak in words. It tells its story through patience, through time, through the unimaginable distance it has crossed. And perhaps the most beautiful thing is this, that light arrives to you exactly when you need peace the most. Like an old friend who quietly finds you after a very long journey, only to sit down beside you and whisper, "I've made it here." As you listen to that light, you are also listening to yourself, to your own smallness, and the quiet miracle of existing in a universe so vast that even your imagination cannot hold it all. You realize that every time you look up at Andromeda, you are not only gazing at another galaxy, you are looking at a slice of time, a moment of the universe captured from an age incredibly far away, a gift carried to you by light. And as you sit there in that stillness, between the light that has taken millions of years to arrive here and the questions drifting through your mind like leaves on the surface of a lake, something small yet heavy begins to reveal itself. That light does not only retell Andromeda's past, it is also whispering about emotion, an invitation, a quiet journey that galaxy began long ago. As if those boats of light you see are gently pulling you toward another truth, the truth that Andromeda is not standing still, it is drifting, slowly, steadily, and it is headed straight toward us. If you close your eyes for the length of a slow breath, you can imagine the universe as a vast, dark ocean. In that ocean, the Milky Way is a wide river of stars shimmering with light. And Andromeda is another river, further away, deeper. And in the space between them, a space that seems completely still. These two rivers are quietly flowing toward each other, even while the great ocean around them continues to expand. It is a beautiful paradox. The universe is expanding, pulling everything farther apart. And yet these two galaxies are choosing to come closer. Like two friends separated since the dawn of time, who accidentally glimpse each other's light through the night and slowly begin to move forward, each taking small steps, until millions of years later, they meet in the middle. That is the Milky Way and Andromeda, and this motion is so subtle that you cannot sense it with your eyes. But the universe has its own way of revealing it. The light from Andromeda is blue-shifted, a sign that it is rushing toward us at a speed of about 200 kilometers per second. Imagine that. Every second, Andromeda comes 200 kilometers closer to you. If you could see the invisible map of space, you would notice a faint arrow stretching between the two galaxies, a path that cannot be undone. Yet in the vastness of the cosmos, 200K/s is not a rush. It is more like the footsteps of a gentle giant, slow and unhurried. No jolts, no haste, just a soft, steady approach, as if ensuring that when the meeting finally happens, it will be breathtakingly beautiful. If you try to picture this scene, you'll see the two galaxies as two ribbons of light drifting on a black sea. One ribbon is the Milky Way, with its spiral arms holding our sun. The other is Andromeda, larger, darker in hue, with countless old stars illuminating its golden core. These two ribbons, though they seem far apart, are carefully drawing closer. And in this quiet night, as you sit there, feeling your heartbeat slow and your breath soften like mist, you might sense that this motion is like a piece of music without words. A symphony that lasts billions of years, yet each note is as gentle as the sound of footsteps on old wooden floors. The Milky Way and Andromeda are dancing a cosmic waltz, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Each turn taking millions of years, and still, so graceful you can't detect a single awkward movement. There are moments in life when you cannot explain why two strangers meet at exactly the right time, why two souls unexpectedly fall into each other's orbit. The universe is the same. It has appointments written in gravity, encounters that cannot be avoided, and Andromeda is on its way to one of those dates. This is not something to be afraid of. It is beautiful in a way that belongs only to the cosmos. Because when two galaxies touch, they do not grind each other to dust like solid objects. Instead, they flow into one another. Like two great rivers that finally find each other after an incredibly long journey. Water merges with water. Light merges with light. The spiral arms wrap around each other, stretching out like ribbons in the wind. And you are part of that dance. Your star, the sun, is standing inside a current much larger than itself. A current that stretches from Andromeda's distant past to the youthful arms of the Milky Way. You may not be here to witness the moment when the two galaxies finally meet. But that doesn't really matter. Because right now, as you sit in stillness, feeling each soft breath, each slow heartbeat, you are still drifting along with that motion. You are still participating in that grand cosmic meeting. You are in that river, a river of stars gently flowing toward a magnificent rendezvous. And when you open your eyes, the light in the sky won't announce this in words, but it will show it through presence, through the way Andromeda hangs there, faint yet unwavering, like a friend approaching from the far end of a galactic street. If you are ready, we will step into the next part, where that encounter is no longer just a promise, but becomes a shimmering scene, the gentle blending of two galaxies. Now, as the image of those two rivers of stars slowly drifting toward each other lingers in your mind like a thin wisp of smoke not yet faded into the air, you begin to realize that each of those quiet movements is actually leading toward a very long, very beautiful moment in the universe. A moment that, if we could see it with the naked eye, would surely leave us speechless. Because right within that boundless silence, the Milky Way and Andromeda are preparing to write the next chapter of the cosmic story. A chapter without noise, without explosive crashes. Only the merging of light, soft and slow, and so beautiful that even time itself seems to tread more gently. Imagine it like this: two rivers of stars, each holding hundreds of billions of suns, slowly moving toward each other. No hurry, no rush, no pushing, just drifting, like two vast streams meeting after a journey that has lasted billions of years. When they touch, you won't hear a sound. No roar, no violent impact like the scenes your imagination might conjure. Instead, you'll see the smooth spirals of their arms stretching into one another like ribbons dancing in the wind. They curve, tilt, and then stretch into new shapes, just like clouds gently merging together on a slow afternoon. One fascinating thing is this: although the galaxies are enormous beyond comprehension, the stars inside them are spaced so far apart that the gaps are like the distances between tiny specks of dust in the night. That means when the Milky Way and Andromeda collide, most of the stars will not hit anything at all. They simply glide past each other in colossal gaps, like wanderers crossing a boundless desert, each heading in their own direction, never realizing they have just passed within a cosmic inch of one another. So this event, which sounds like it could destroy everything, is in truth surprisingly gentle. A slow, delicate, and graceful union. Let your imagination step a little further. As the galaxies pass through each other for the first time, their spiral arms will be pulled and stretched, like ribbons lifted by an invisible wind. Then, gravity will make them turn back, drawing them closer. Another pass, and then another, each one like a long, tender touch, spread across hundreds of millions of years. And finally, when every curve of light has merged, when the dust lanes have thinned out, when newborn stars are kindled from compressed clouds of gas, a new galaxy will slowly open its eyes. This new galaxy has a name as soft as a breath: Milkomeda. You can picture Milkomeda as a vast oasis of light in the desert of space, a smoother, rounder galaxy glowing softly like a giant lantern hanging in the deep black. The stars of the Milky Way and Andromeda, once strangers for billions of years, will by then be neighbors, turning together in a new dance, gentle and profound. If you listen carefully in this moment, you will feel something important. It is not only Andromeda that is coming toward us. We too are moving toward Andromeda. Just like in life, sometimes two souls don't merely meet by accident. Both quietly step toward each other, laying down small bridges of time until they finally meet in the middle, where destiny becomes quiet and beautiful. The merging of the Milky Way and Andromeda is not an ending. It is a transformation, a kind of maturity for the universe, a new chapter in the story of light. And you, though just a tiny speck of dust in the galaxy as it is now, are a special witness on the threshold of that meeting. Across billions of years, across unimaginable distances, you are in exactly the right place to hear this story, and you are moving with it. Perhaps, when you close your eyes for a few more slow breaths, you will see yourself drifting gently between the two rivers of stars, watching their spiral arms curl into each other like ribbons dancing underwater. And all you need to do is let yourself float along, peacefully, as if the universe were painting a new picture and you were lying right at the center of its stillness. And as the image of those two rivers of stars touching still drifts gently through your mind, like streaks of light that haven't yet dissolved into the dark, you may feel something very soft. That before that distant future arrives, Andromeda is still fully alive in this present moment, with all its gentle secrets folded into each layer of light. Like an ancient book still closed, needing only the lightest touch of your hand for each page to slowly reveal the stories hidden deep inside. And so tonight, we'll try opening that book, little by little. Let your mind drift slowly, as if you were gliding on a warm, still surface of water. You don't have to walk, don't have to try, don't have to figure anything out. You just allow yourself to be guided deeper into that galaxy, where every bright region, every faint streak, every dusty band holds its own story, small in appearance, but stretching across millions and millions of years. First, let your gaze rest on the galactic core. Imagine you are floating in front of a golden red sphere, glowing softly like an ember still holding the warmth of a winter night. This is home to the old stars, suns that have lived for a very long time, burned through so much of themselves, and witnessed countless generations of new stars being born and fading away. They sit close together, like elders gathered around a fire, sharing stories only time itself can understand. Their light is not as blinding as that of young stars. It is warm, deep, and calm, like a quiet lullaby wrapped around the entire galaxy. Leaving that ancient heart behind, you glide gently toward the spiral arms, where the life of the galaxy is in full bloom. Here you'll see young stars, blue and intensely bright, like sparks that have just been struck in the dark. They are like children running around in a courtyard, radiant, restless, and overflowing with energy. Their light pierces through clouds of gas like fine golden needles, sewing into the sky, illuminating places where darkness once seemed permanent. And woven between those streaks of light are dark dust lanes, soft, shadowy bands drifting across like strips of dark silk. Don't let their darkness deceive you. Beneath those dusty veils, new stars are being born. Like cocoons lying still in the shadows, waiting for the moment to burst open. If you let your mind drift closer, you can almost imagine the very slow movement there. Gas swirling together, faint threads of light beginning to form, like the first breath of a tiny soul in an endless universe. Then, as you float onward, you'll find yourself traveling along corridors of light. Corridors with no walls, no ceiling, no floor, only stars arranged in layers, in streaks, in flowing lines, like lanterns suspended over a still lake. You drift past them like a traveler walking through a dream. Weightless, soundless, with nothing but light brushing softly across your skin, with a warmth that's hard to name. As you look into those many layers, you'll realize Andromeda is not just a galaxy. It is like an immense city, where every district, every street, every lamp has its own rhythm of life. At the center are the old masters of the universe. In the arms are the young souls just awakening. In the dusty bands are stories that haven't yet begun. And you, tonight, are quietly walking among them all, like a wanderer being given the rare chance to stroll through the heart of the light itself. When you breathe softly, you may feel yourself drifting even deeper, not in a physical sense, but in an emotional one. Because the more you gaze at Andromeda, the more you listen to the whisper of its glowing regions, the more you begin to sense something very gentle. This galaxy is not strange, not cold, not distant. It feels like a place you may have visited before in a dream, a place where every star seems to have known your name long ago. Perhaps that is what makes Andromeda so indescribably beautiful. Not just because it is vast or radiant, but because it is full of stories. From old stars to lights that haven't yet taken shape. And all of those stories are flowing slowly together, like lines of text still being written on an ancient page. And while you're still drifting among these corridors of light, between newborn stars just opening their eyes, and the elder lamps burning slowly at the galactic core, there comes a very soft moment. Like standing before a night sea and suddenly realizing that beneath the calm surface lies a world far larger than you ever imagined. It's the same with Andromeda. What human eyes can see is only the bright surface of the galaxy, its deepest part, its widest reach, the part that truly shapes its fate, lies in absolute darkness. A darkness that is not frightening, not threatening, just silent, boundless, and waiting to be heard. Let us gently move into that darkness now, as though we were sliding through a thin veil of mist, opening the way. You can imagine Andromeda as a colossal seed, drifting through the cosmos. But this seed doesn't hold its structure together by what we can see. The stars, the spiral arms, the glowing gas, these are only a thin shell. What truly nourishes the galaxy is an invisible mass, quietly wrapped around it. We call it dark matter, something that neither reflects light nor shines, that does not interact with our eyes, yet cradles the galaxy in its unseen embrace, like a gentle but unbreakable skeleton. Picture a giant, pale, misty sphere encircling all of Andromeda. A sphere that, if you tried to reach out and touch it, would let you feel not a surface, but a thick, soft quiet. That mist is the dark matter halo, vast beyond any spiral arm, heavier than all the bright stars combined, and so silent that even time seems to tiptoe as it passes through. And that invisible mist opens up another story, the one Andromeda has lived for billions of years. A story not only of light, but of devouring, absorbing, and dissolving smaller galaxies. Don't think of it as something cruel. In the universe, merging is also a way to survive, like drops of dew gathering into a stream, or clouds joining together to give birth to rain. Andromeda is the same. It has grown by pulling nearby galaxies close, embracing them and dissolving them into its own light. If you look very carefully at deep field images, you'll see around Andromeda faint, thin streams of stars like long ribbons fading into the dark. These are not spiral arms, nor are they gas clouds. They are the remnants of small galaxies that once drifted nearby, were stretched out, torn apart, and slowly melted into Andromeda. Each stream of stars is a history, a record, a whisper, from a world that no longer exists. And you must imagine this. Each star in those streams once had a home, an orbit of its own, belonging to another space. Then, over a moment lasting millions of years, it was caught by Andromeda's gravity, twisted, stretched into soft rivers of light like ribbons pulled taut by an invisible wind. Those strands of light don't gather in just one place. They wrap around the galaxy, tracing great curves, sometimes as if drawing a gentle arm encircling all of Andromeda. And within that gentleness lies a tremendous power. The power of a galaxy that knows how to gather, how to keep, how to store the memories of every galaxy that has ever passed through it. Let your mind drift slowly through these currents of memory. Each stream of stars is a story that has ended, but it is also a part of what makes Andromeda the largest galaxy in the local group. It is large not only because it has many stars, but because it carries within itself the histories of the galaxies that have dissolved into it. A beautiful blending only a patient universe could create. And when you look at the entire galaxy in silence, you'll notice something very subtle. That sometimes beauty lives in what cannot be seen. In the dark halo that wraps around the galaxy, in the faint star streams that appear only when we observe for a very long time, in the stories that have faded so deeply into the light that they are nothing more than thin traces. Those unseen things are what keep the galaxy standing. Just as in your own life, there are things no one else can see, but they are what hold you together. And as that stillness continues to settle over your mind, we can gently step into the next part, where Andromeda is no longer a distant galaxy, but becomes a mirror reflecting the future of the Milky Way itself, and a soft lullaby for the final stretch of tonight's journey. And as you hover within that unseen mist, enfolding Andromeda, where dark matter holds the galaxy in its quiet arms, you begin to feel something delicate, that everything we can see and everything we cannot is leading us toward a simple truth. Every galaxy has its own story and also reflects the stories of others. Very softly, like a door beginning to open, Andromeda starts telling you something that very few ever truly listen to. The story of the future of the Milky Way and the future of all of us. Let your mind soften just a little more, because this final part is like a mirror. When we look at Andromeda from afar, we sometimes think it's just an ancient painting of the cosmos. Old light traveling 2.5 million years to reach human eyes. But if you sit very still and let that light slowly dissolve into your mind, you'll see that it is not just memory. It is also a prophecy. Because Andromeda is not standing still. It is drifting toward the Milky Way. Little by little, its light is like a gentle call, a promise written billions of years ago, in a distant moment of the future. These two galaxies will touch, not in a noisy, violent way, but slowly, like two great rivers, embracing each other in the night. There will be none of the brutal destruction we often imagine. Instead, there will be swirling, seeking, and blending. A very slow dance, stretching out like the breath of time. When the two galaxies meet, their stars will spread out and then gather again into new rivers of light. Stellar systems will glide past one another like glowing specks slipping through fog. The distance between stars is so vast that most of them will never collide, only change course. Like you, tilting your head slightly to let a passing night breeze slip by. And then, from that gentle touch, a new galaxy will be born. People whisper its name like a distant song, Milkomeda. a galaxy larger, smoother, more radiant, as though Andromeda and the Milky Way have rewritten each other's destinies in light. Once you know this, looking at Andromeda is no longer just gazing at some faraway galaxy. It becomes gazing into the future of the very cosmic home we live in, looking at an ending that is also a beginning. And now, in this quiet moment, in the room where you are sitting or lying down, you may feel that you too are drifting, not fast, not slow, between two galaxies, gradually drawing closer. Not with worry, but with a deep comfort. We are not alone in this vast universe. Because every ray of light you see, every galaxy you touch with your eyes, is a reminder that you, though just a tiny grain of dust, still belong to an unimaginably large picture. A picture you are not just watching from the outside. You are part of it. A single dot, small but irreplaceable. Imagine this. You are lying on a little boat of light, drifting slowly across a night sea. To your left is the Milky Way, the huge familiar arch of brightness. To your right is Andromeda, quietly approaching like a gentle guest returning from afar. Both are drawing nearer, and you are in the middle, being held in the glow of them both like two warm hands. Your breath begins to slow. Your body grows light like stardust. The universe becomes a vast blanket, spreading over your entire mind. Tonight, you don't need to understand all the numbers, the huge distances, or the cycles lasting billions of years. You only need to know this: the universe never stops changing, and you are drifting along with it, softly and safely. And as you start to sink into the final layer of stillness before sleep, hold on to this image, not to think about it, but to let it lull you. A small boat, a peaceful traveler, and two galaxies, gently moving toward each other, like two dreams meeting in the middle of a long night. Sleep deeply, my friend. In a universe so vast that light takes millions of years to cross it, you are still seen, still heard, and still held, ever so gently. May you have a tender, gentle sleep, cradled in the palm of the universe.